Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to start talking about connecting to the ground, or ground connection. Why is ground connection so important? We must understand that we get our energy from the ground. For example, when you're throwing a punch, the first thing that happens is my foot accesses the floor in order to push my hip. Then that energy goes through my spine and out my shoulder and then out of my hand. But if I do not push off the ground, the punch renders weak and it doesn't have the correct energy in order to protect myself. Let's take it from a different sport. Simply jumping. The first thing you do when you jump is you bend your knees. You get lower to the floor so you can push off the ground and explode. When you run, you are stepping onto the ground and pushing off of that floor so you can explode and run. So, every time you're doing something dynamic or something in sports, you're always grounding, but you don't know you're grounding. So if you never understand how to really ground, are you really being efficient with your body? So let's start understanding how to ground. So, in Goju Ryu, or very many Okinawan style karate systems, we start off in a stance called Masubidachi. So, Masubidachi means open toe stance. So my toes are going about 60 degrees out. Some people will go 45. Doesn't really matter, but this is the idea. I want to bend my knees past my toes. Then I want to rotate my heels into the point where the outsides of my feet are parallel, which brings us to this next stance, Hekodachi, parallel stance. In Hekodachi, I want to keep my knees bent, but then I'm going to squeeze my glutes. When I squeeze my glutes, and I'm going to show you this from the side, you'll notice that my belt from the start is kind of slanted. It's a posterior hip tilt. So whenever I squeeze my glutes, notice that my belt lines directly up with the ground. Now my pelvis is aligned correctly for my spine to sit on top of it. So this is the first part you want to understand. Understand how to access your glutes so that your pelvis tilts in the correct position and your spine allows you to have good posture. Now the second body part we want to talk about is the belly button or the stomach. So I want you to take your finger and I want you to put it on your belly button. This is called a stomach vacuum. I want you to breathe out and pull your belly button as far to your spine as you can. Ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. And then relax. So the further you can pull your belly button back, the more access to your transversals abdominis you get. What is the transversals abdominis? They talk about transformers over here? I don't know. So let me explain. The transversals abdominis is like a weight belt underneath your abs. When you activate your transversals abdominis, it goes and grabs more muscle tissue. How much muscle tissue? 20 to 40%. So this makes you stronger by 20 to 40%. In karate, we do a hi-ya! We do a ki-ai. The ki-ai is used in order for us to access that transversals abdominis and increase our power by 40%. So if we know that we have access to more muscle tissue and it can make us almost 50% stronger, why wouldn't we be using it in everything that we're doing, especially a workout? So now that you understand this, transversals abdominis, shh, breathe all your air out whenever something is very hard to access more muscle tissue, and it's going to make it easier for you to get through that rep, that objective that it is that you're doing, and it's going to help you relax as well. So now that you understand the core, let's talk about what's happening. When I contract my glutes and I contract my core, or I breathe, I'm making my stomach and my core connect to the bottom part of my body. One part of the body is left, the top part. So how do I connect the top part to the rest of it? I want you to pick your arm up like this, and I want you to take your hand, and I want you to put it underneath your armpit. And then I want you to pretend like you're pulling something down. You will feel this muscle underneath your armpit start to flex. This is called your lats. Your lats are a big muscle that go from here all the way down, and they connect to your obliques and your core. Your back muscles actually help you contract your obliques. So if you know how to contract your lats, then you can contract your core. So how do we get access to our lats? I want you to take your shoulders, roll them back, and then roll them down. Again, roll them back, and then roll them down. When you have them back and down, your ear is going to line up over your shoulder, and then whenever you activate the glutes and the belly button, roll them back. Ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle should be aligned. And this is how you start to ground. What are you going to be feeling when you ground? Here's what I feel. When I bend my knees, squeeze the glutes, breathe out, shoulders back and down, I feel like my feet want to go outwards, like they want to do that. But since I'm contracting my glutes, it's almost locking me into the floor. So that is ground connection. So now let's talk about how we can use ground connection in everyday life or a workout. Let's get it. On to the drills. Let's have some fun.